Yes, I'm fully vaccinated now, and you too try to get vaccinated as soon as possible. I know the second shot hits you like a truck, but yeah, it's definitely worth it. What's up, everyone? This is Akshay Sipala, and if I can do it, you can do it. As you've clicked this video, I assume that recruiting season is right around the corner. Or you might have seen the APM as well as the early PM positions open up on those job portals. Am I right? That's awesome. If that is the case, make sure to apply as soon as possible. And if you need any sort of help with the application or need any sort of advice, make sure to drop a comment down below and I'll try my best to answer your questions. But if you want to take it one-on-one, you can definitely connect with me on LinkedIn and we can take it up from there. Now, keeping that aside, because recruiting is right around the corner, are you now wondering what product management interview process looks like, what sorts of questions they ask, and why do they ask those sort of questions? If your answer is yes, then this video is for you. And before we start, let's roll that intro. From my experience, product management interviews are different across different companies, but there is definitely a common theme across all the different companies, and let's talk just about that. First, let's get started with in general, all of these companies follow somewhat of a similar process when hiring for a product manager. And this includes number 1, applying on the job portal, number 2, a phone screen interview with either a recruiter or a product manager, number 3, a final on-site interview with senior product managers, group product managers, principal product managers, so basically with product leaders. And sometimes there is this 4th round which really doesn't happen that often, but if it all that does happen, it would be with the hiring manager or with a product leader. Now let me add details for all of those 4 steps. Coming to the first step of applying on a job portal, this would generally involve you filling up all of your details on an online application and then attaching your amazing well-polished product resume to that application and then finally hitting that apply or submit button. This is the stage of the process where a lot of applicants are filtered out from the process. So it's really important that you already have great connections with employees from within those companies and also have invested your time in building a perfect product resume which is generally tailored to all of the different companies that you're applying to. If you want a video exactly about that, then make sure to smash that like button. And if you advance to the next round, it would generally be a 45 to an hour long phone interview with a recruiter or a product manager. And in this interview, they'll be asking questions around your resume, some behavioral questions, and also some simple technical questions. And most of the times, they also ask you product related questions to test how well structured you are when approaching product problems. I'll be sharing with you examples for these product questions towards the very end, so make sure that you stick around. If you advance to the next stage, it would be the final on-site interview. This is the interview where the company would fly you out to the head office and would conduct interviews back to back. This is not just one interview, but it comprises of 3 to 5 rounds, which would generally be back to back. Each of these rounds are of 1 hour of length and are generally a combination of behavioral questions as well as product related questions. Some firms even have casual interviews when having lunch. This final on-site interview is definitely intense but a lot of fun. Even if you make it or not towards the end, you would be having a lot of great experiences to cherish. Just saying, some firms also give you allowance for sightseeing. Isn't that fun? After the final on-site interview, that's when a decision would be made and probably they'll be rolling out an offer for you. But at times there is this additional 4th round that does happen where you'd be having a casual conversation with the hiring manager or a product leader where they'd be trying to learn more about you through resume-based questions and behavioral questions. Now coming to the timelines, it would typically take 4 to 8 weeks from the time you apply on the job portal to actually receiving the offer. But there were certain instances where it took more than 4 months for me to actually get an offer. So just keep that in mind. Alright, now let's get to the part that you're most excited about, which is there are different kinds of questions asked in these interviews to test different product management skill sets. As I mentioned earlier, each company is quite different and some focus on one particular kind of question over the other. Nevertheless, on a broad level, there are 5 different kinds of product questions. Number 1, behavioral questions. These are the questions that are all about you. It could be anything from tell me about yourself, why product management, why this company, to tell me about a time that you failed, that you went above and beyond. So with these types of questions, they would try to assess your fit to the company's core values. So make sure that you do enough research about the company and also try to make the most out of the coffee chats to get those core values of that particular company. So when you're sharing your experience as a story, try to translate the core principles within that experience to showcase that you're a best fit for that company. Number 2, design questions. These are the questions that are very popular in the product management interviews. These are also called product sense questions. And with these questions, they try to assess your core product management skill set, which is nothing but empathy, creativity, and structured thinking. And they do that by putting you at a spot where you have to think all about the users and their pain points and structure all of their problems to figure out a product that would help solve their pain point problems. These product sense questions would be of 3 types. How would you design X? How would you improve X? And what's your favorite product and how would you improve it? The X in this question could be very random. It could be anything from Google Maps, Spotify, to designing a pen for an astronaut, to even a kitchen. If you want me to make a detailed video about this particular question and how you could best answer it, then make sure to destroy that like button. Then there comes the 3rd category of questions, which are the subscription-based questions. And these questions are really important, and these would involve questions like, have you subscribed to my YouTube channel yet? Yes, I know you haven't subscribed yet. Make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Didn't I get you? Yes. Awesome. So jokes aside, let's get back. So the 3rd kind of questions that you would encounter would be metric analysis questions. As mentioned in my earlier product management videos, metrics are key in defining the success for the product. And with these questions, they test exactly that. They test 2 key things. Number 1, how good you are at defining metrics for a product. And 2, how good you are at analyzing different kinds of metrics to get to the root cause of a certain problem. And examples for these questions would be, how would you define metrics for Facebook dating? What metric would be your North Star metric and why? And another example could be, you're a product manager for Microsoft Teams and you see that there was a 20% decline in the number of video calls. Now, what would you do? And the 4th kind would be strategy questions. Making product decisions involves a lot of strategy, and these questions focuses on how you think on your feet with respect to the market, the pricing, etc. But apart from that, it also tests how good you are with your numbers and the way that you break down problems. These questions are of 2 types. Number 1, product strategy questions. Number 2, estimation questions. And here are some examples for these kind of questions. For product strategy, let me give you 2 examples. Why do you think Microsoft acquired LinkedIn? The other one could be, if you are the CEO of Tesla, what would your next product be to increase the revenue? And coming to estimation questions, what is the market size for toilet paper in the US? And another example could be, how much storage space is used by Google Drive in the world? And the 5th kind of question would be technical questions. I just want to re-emphasize that product managers do not need to code, but they do need to have a great understanding of technology. So these questions do not judge how good of a coder you are, but rather how well you know technology. Sometimes these questions also involve testing your logical skills by asking you to devise algorithms, which is nothing but building logics. Hey, don't be afraid of these questions. These are very simple and logical ones. And I'm sure that you do well if you have a good understanding of technology and basic technical concepts like data structures. Examples for technical questions would be, how would you explain cloud to a 5-year-old? Or if your grandfather asks you what an API is, what would you say? Or even, how would you explain the concept of time complexity? So these are the 5 kinds of questions asked in product management interview. Now what are you waiting for? Just go ahead and get started. And if you have any sort of questions regarding preparation, just comment down below and I'll help you out. And before you start, please remember that you have to tailor your preparation based on the company, because each company is different and they have a different focus on these different 5 questions. Do you want me to make a video on how you could prepare for product management interviews? If yes, you know what you have to do. That's all that I had for this one. I'll see you in the next one, but until then, be kind, stay humble, and keep hustling. Thank you for watching.